Phyrexia All Will Be One just came out, so I thought it'd be really interesting to look at the top most expensive variants in the set. So basically, the top most expensive non-traditional versions of cards, whether that be the Iker borderless, traditional borderless, manga borderless, step incomplete, Phyrexian text, or any of those. So let's jump into it, starting with number 5. Which technically isn't even a card from All Will Be One, it is Vornclex Monstrous Raider. This is a reprint that doesn't affect the legality of it, but it appears in this concept art. So essentially they're printing borderless versions of the cards with the concept art they showed to the artist who created the original cards. The normal version of it is going for $59.99. The traditional foil version is going for $69.99. And the Step Incomplete foil version of it is going for $79.99. These are findable in all types of boosters in the normal and traditional foil and are available in collector boosters in the complete foil, but it's really interesting to see how the prices affect it. You know, you're only getting an extra $10 for it if it's foil, but you're getting an extra $20 for it if it's the completed foil, which is really interesting to see how the numbers vary from card to card in terms of how much they add to the value, because you'll see it's not necessarily consistent. Speaking of not consistent, number 4 is Atraxa Grand Unifier. This card normally is going for $17.99. However, in its non-foil borderless Iker form, it's going for $59.99. That is more than doubling the price of the card just to jump it into the borderless version, not including any foilness. Then you throw on top of that, the traditional foil borderless Iker is actually cheaper, being $49.99, and the Step Incomplete version is more expensive, being $100. So it's actually cheaper to get a foil version in Iker than it is to get a non-foil version in Iker, but both of those are wildly more expensive than the normal version. And that's just a really interesting thing to see. And I think a big part of it is that the Atraxa Iker card is one of the best looking Iker arts in the set. Some of them look okay, but Atraxa seems really, really good in comparison. I also think it could just be the market is new enough that there are going to be these little variances in the prices, but it's really interesting to see that on this one, the Iker is pulling it really high up in price, and the foilness is not necessarily doing as much unless it's a Step Incomplete foil. Throw on top of that the oil foil going for $79.99, and there's a lot of versions of Atraxa. Again, oil foils can only be found in complete boosters, found in complete bundles, so I'm not really going to analyze it too much because they are just a weird market, and you actually can't get your hands on them until March 3rd when the complete bundle officially launches. So it's kind of a weird one. I will be mentioning the prices, but won't be talking too much about them in future cards. Number 3 is Mondrak Glory Dominus. This card's going for $60, and it actually was the most expensive card in the original set. It's really cool because it doubles up your tokens and can gain indestructible, so it's a very, very powerful effect. But it is $59.99 for the normal version. Going to the borderless Iker, it's also $59.99. So this is one where the Ikerness doesn't actually affect it. And I think there might be some interesting balance there where if a card is good enough, you know, like Mondrak is just a very good card, the Ikerness doesn't really affect it. You just want to get as many copies of that as you can. Whereas something like Atraxa, who's more likely to just be your commander, the Ikerness matters a little bit more because you often are going to want to foil out or, you know, Iker out your commander versus just a random card in your 99. And I think Atraxa is more of a commander and Mondrak is more of a card in the 99. I know commander isn't the only format, but it is the most popular, and I think it drives a lot of the pricing of cards, especially like this one. But moving on, traditional foil borderless Iker is $69.99. Step Incomplete foil borderless Iker is $120, and then the oil foil is $130. These prices do get a lot higher. I mean, you are doubling the price in order to go from the normal Iker up to the Step Incomplete borderless, which is really, really crazy. But again, Step Incomplete is very, very hard to get. Overall, the price on this ranges from $60 to $130, but that's not the wildest swing in prices, as we'll see moving forward. Number 2 is another card not necessarily from the set. It is Shieldred the Apocalypse in their concept frame. It is $80 for the traditional concept art card. Again, you cannot get the normal border version, just the concept version of it. And so that is pushing it up to $80. Shieldred's insane. Necessary for standard, necessary for lots of formats. So the fact that it's getting reprinted in a special border is going to lead to a high price. Now, if you want the traditional foil version of that concept, it is going to be $100. And if you want the Step Incomplete version, it's $120. So here we're ranging from $80 to $120, but it doesn't have nearly as many versions as the other cards, as it's technically not an all will be one card, but it's still openable in set, draft, and collector boosters, just like any other card on this list would be. It's just at a much lower rate. What's kind of crazy about the set, and I'm going to deviate a little bit about talking about shieldred here, is there's just so much value in it. Normally, every set has 1 or 2 gimmicks to try and get you to buy it that makes it a little bit crazier. The Brothers War had the retro artifacts. Dominaria United had the Lost Legends and the random Legends cards within collector boosters. This set just has insanely powerful cards, tons of variants, the concept art. Like, there is so many different factors that are adding value onto the set that I actually expect a lot of these prices to plummet. So before you go out and order yourself a, step-in complete Shieldred the Apocalypse, because there is so much value in the set, people are going to open a ton of it. And because it's a standard product, it's print to demand, meaning if people buy a bunch of it, they print more of it. Unlike something like Dominaria Remastered or even, some of the older sets, they only print a certain amount of it and then they stop printing it. This, they will keep printing until the demand is lower, and the demand will only go lower once the price is lower. So I expect all of these prices to plummet. So if you do open these, I'd recommend selling them quickly. And if you're wanting to buy singles, which I'd recommend, I would wait a little bit to see these prices fall. This isn't always the case when it comes to like special versions, because they do sometimes do limited print runs of special versions. So for example, the oil foils are in a complete bundle, and I'm pretty sure that's a one-time print run. So they're not going to print anymore. Amazon, Best Buy, a lot of the major online retailers are already sold out. So those cards may actually go up in price, but we'll have to see. Alrighty, number 1 is Ellis Noran, Mother of Machines. The normal card is going for $54.99. And there are a ton of versions of this one. So in non-foil, the borderless concept art is going for $99.99. The borderless Iker version is going for $99.99. Now, before we even jump any further, those are both almost, it's a little bit less than double the price. So we're seeing this weird thing where like commanders seem to double their price to get special versions, and cards that maybe go in your 99 are more likely to just, get a little bit of extra value or not much value at all. Ellis Noran here is almost doubling in price. What does more than double in price is the Phyrexian language version. So this is just the non-foil Phyrexian language version. They've done these for all of the Praetors across the different sets, and it's going for $120. The borderless manga version is actually going for $130, which is really interesting to me that the manga version is doing more than the Phyrexian text. Because in my mind, the Iker version and the manga version are not that different. They're very different styles of art for sure, but like the rarity of them should be about the same, where the Phyrexian language is a little bit more unique, but of course, it is the normal art, so maybe that reduces it a little bit. Either way, in foil, we have a lot, so I'm going to kind of just speed run through these. The traditional foil borderless concept is going to be $130. The traditional foil Phyrexian language is $160. The step-in complete borderless concept is $200. That's almost 4 times the price of the normal card. The step-in complete borderless Iker card is $200. The traditional foil borderless manga card is $230. The step-in complete Phyrexian language card is $280. The step-in complete borderless manga card is $300, and the oil foil borderless is $300. So this is obviously the widest range. The lowest thing you could get an Ellis Noran for is about $55, and the most expensive is $300. That is almost 6 times the price of the normal card, and it's really interesting to see how these multipliers work. I mean, Atraxa had her oil foil at $80, and she is an $18 card. Ellis Noran's is $300 as a $55 card. And it'll be really interesting to track how these values change so that we can kind of know in the future, hey, this type of card is going to plummet. LB1 has an unprecedented amount of card types. And I'm very curious how that will affect the price of each. Because there's more card types, does that mean there's less of each? So then the individual ones are worth more? Does it devalue them because people are going to go searching for this, completed version of Ellis Noran that's step-in complete and trying to get this really rare one? They're going to get a bunch of the other ones and drive down the price. I'm really curious about that. Either way, guys, this was a new video type. I mean, I've done top 10 videos before. This is a top 5 of the special variants. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What would you like to see me dive more into in the future? If you enjoyed, hit that like button. I will see you in the next one.